everyone, I'm Jacqueline Carmody. I'm here at Art Therapy Studio Chicago in Wicker Park in the Flatiron Arts Building. This is one of the practices that I work at in Wicker Park, where I do counseling, individual counseling, group therapy, and art therapy. So I will be joining all of you today virtually to give you some of the benefits of art therapy. The reason that I chose to do this webinar today and meet with you all virtually is just to connect on what is going on in our world today with the quarantine and just get everybody connected with one another and give them an opportunity to learn some benefits of art therapy. So this virtual webinar is sponsored with Twist Out Cancer, which is an organization that is a non-for-profit that helps individuals who have been touched by cancer through creative outlets. And one of our programs is our Twistshops, which is an art therapy-based group and workshop that we've been running throughout Chicago, and we're really excited to expand our Twistshops throughout the country, and we've just trained some really awesome art therapists to be able to facilitate those Twistshops. So due to us not being able to run the Twistshops in person, we are going to be bringing them to you virtually. So today we will go over some different supplies, techniques, and materials that you can get for yourself in preparation for the virtual Twistshops, and they will be open to everybody who wants to register via our Zoom link on our website, www.twistoutcancer.org. It is free. And so I will be showing you a few materials that will be really awesome to get for those workshops. So just to give you a little bit of background on why we chose to do this webinar today, a lot of individuals are hopefully quarantining themselves to keep themselves safe, but also other people in the world safe who may be more at risk due to age or their own health, and especially the cancer population who is very sensitive to having their immune system not be working as efficiently due to treatment. And so we really want to be able to respect them and give them a space to be able to talk about what being quarantined has been like for them, whether it was a past experience or something they've recently gone through. I think as a nation, as a world right now, we're able to connect on what it's like to be isolated from the people that we love, isolated from the things that make us really happy, going out to our favorite restaurants. And so now we're kind of forced to take that time to ourselves, and we don't have access to all of those coping skills or resources that we've had before. So if anything, if you're able to take an hour out of your day today and disconnect from all of the chaos that is going on and just enjoy some art therapy, that's all I ask, and you will learn a lot about how it can help you throughout this time. So what I have been hearing from a lot of friends, family, and some of my clients is that the quarantine has been really isolating for them, and they are already struggling with a lot of anxiety and depression and worry and social anxiety and feeling lonely. And so this quarantine has really put them in a difficult place to work on those symptoms or those struggles. And so I wanted to have this be a place where we can talk about that. It can be an open conversation about how to take care of our mental health and how to take care of our brains during this difficult time, because a lot of the focus is on our physical health and our symptoms that we can see, coughing, sneezing, things like that. But things like loneliness, depression, anxiety, you can't see those, but they are equally as important during this time to take care of. So I will be going over some of my favorite art therapy techniques to use, and I hope that you can learn something from this webinar. So I know that I mentioned earlier that Twist Out Cancer is starting a Twistshop program. So some of you who are just joining us, I will explain what the Twistshops are. They are creative therapy-based support groups and workshops for individuals who have been touched by cancer. So whether it's somebody who's currently in treatment, has been previously in treatment, pre-vivor, survivor, or just a family member or loved one of somebody who has been affected by cancer, this group is perfect for you, and this space is great because it is an opportunity to connect with other people who have similar experiences. The groups that I personally run are art therapy based, but we do have an amazing team of facilitators who have different specialties and different interventions that they're going to start using. Hopefully in person as soon as we can get the clear to run those, but for now we're hoping that we can bring the Twistshops to you virtually. So every Tuesday, starting next week, there will be an hour Twistshop program that is free to everybody. It's going to be at 1 o'clock every Tuesday, and I will be running that, and it will be available via Zoom. So today is just to kind of introduce you to what that is and get you ready for what materials you will need ahead of time. So some tips on how art therapy can help you during this time. Creativity improves and enhances your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. And so most of the time during our everyday life, we're expected to be verbal, make sense, be very rational, and look at the facts. And especially right now with all this data and all this news, it can get really overwhelming, and it can be a lot of information at once. And art and creative processing allows you to put that aside and really reflect on some of the personal things going on that may be a little bit more abstract. And the artwork can be a container for all of those bigger feelings and emotions that you don't know what to do with. So I really encourage everybody during this time to make some form of artwork, whether it's a doodle, whether it's journaling, whether it's writing a song, playing an instrument. Any form of being creative can really help because it gets you out of that rational mind of thinking and overthinking and anxiety-based thinking and more to a relaxed, calm state. So words can be really exhausting, and art making allows self-expression to happen without the need for words to describe what your inner experience is. And so during these Twistshops, we really hope that people can take a break from the verbal words that they have to use in their everyday life and really just use it for a space for connecting through creativity. Also, art making relaxes our hyper-aroused limbic system. So if you've been feeling a lot of anxiety, I personally carry my anxiety in my sleep and struggle sleeping. And so for myself, if I make art or I do some reflecting before bed or something that calms me down, I know that I will be in a much better place to get a restful night's sleep and then feel better throughout the day. So if you've been noticing that you've been really anxious or just really wired with all of this news going on, especially being stuck inside, art making can really help to lower that hyper-aroused limbic system and ultimately just make you feel better, even if it is temporarily, because you cannot be anxious and make art at the same time. It's impossible. You can make art and then be anxious and then make art and then be anxious, but they cannot happen at the same time. So even if it's for 1 second, if you're feeling better because you're making artwork, that's awesome. So the benefit of doing the groups is to connect everybody together. We are all stuck inside and we really need to keep connecting with one another, and it can be done virtually. And so I know it's different from what we're used to and it's out of the norm, but it is possible, and I think it's something that we can all just get used to and will actually appreciate and really like if we try it. And so I do encourage everybody to connect with the people that they care about, whether it's through FaceTime, Zoom, texting. You can still connect during this time because connection is a currency for well-being. It really helps you feel better, and you never know who you might help feel better during this time also. So the groups that we'll be doing, I think, will really help people get out of their mindset. And, you might even forget that it's through a computer screen. You might feel like you're in the room with us. So group therapy will provide social support and ease some of the feelings of social anxiety that you may be having during this time. So you can get actively involved in our groups if you go to our website at www.twistoutcancer.org. We are also offering a lot of great resources here at the studio. This is Art Therapy Studio Chicago. You can access our website at www.art-therapist.org. We have a great team of therapists, and we are working really hard to provide new resources for everybody who is kind of stuck inside during this time. And teletherapy has been a really awesome way for me to still connect with my clients, even if we aren't able to meet in person. So if you do have a therapist that you see and you feel stuck because you cannot see them in person, please try teletherapy. It really can be effective, and it's another option for, working through some of these hard mental health times. So now we get to do the fun part, and I'm going to introduce some of my favorite art making materials. And these are going to be some that are more out of the box and easily accessed during this time. I understand you can't really go out to the store, but a lot of these materials are offered online. You might even realize you have some of them already in your house. So many of you who know me and have seen my artwork, I love watercolor painting. It's one of my favorite forms of creating art. So I'm going to actually run through my favorite art making activity that relaxes me. It's creating art with watercolors through a circle. So the first step is getting some art making materials. I like using watercolor paper because it's sturdier and it doesn't melt when you put water on it. So if you use like regular copy paper or printer paper, as soon as you put the water on it, it's going to wrinkle. You're going to get frustrated. So I recommend using watercolor paper because that's what it's made for. It's just made for watercolors. You will also need, let's see, some paintbrushes that I have right here and some watercolor paints. So I prefer a bigger variety, but honestly the cheap brand from Walgreens works really well. I think it's like $2.99. So I'm going to start by just making a simple circle. I'm going to use my disinfectant wipes as the circle template. The reason I'm choosing a circle is because I think that when I draw a shape and I stay in the lines, it helps me stay more grounded and just be able to have a little bit more control. So to get started, just draw a simple circle or any shape that you like on the watercolor paper. The next thing you're going to do is find a larger brush, a medium-sized brush. I'm going to go with this size. It's about a medium-sized brush, but really you can use whatever you have. And then you just need a cup of water. So the first thing that you're going to do is cover the entire circle with just water. You're not going to put any paint on it. This is a trick that a lot of people don't know with watercolors. They want to put the paint on right away, but in order to get that really nice effect of all the colors kind of blurring together, like outer space or like a solar system, you got to put the water down first. So you're going to cover the entire circle and you're going to stay inside the line. If anyone is doing this alongside me, please post pictures of your work. I would love to see them. Okay, so you fill the entire circle with water and then you pick some of your favorite colors. So I love using the bright purples and oranges that come on this palette. And then what you do is you just follow the outline of the circle. And you'll notice because you filled it in with water, it's naturally going to just stay in the lines for you. And the color will kind of form to the circle, which is really fun. It's really satisfying to watch that happen. So that's also another relaxing part of this, is just seeing the way that the colors move in the water. Okay, I'm going to try not to tip it too much so the water doesn't fall, but as you can see, the watercolors move really nice. They're really satisfying. Now I'm going to pick another color. I'm going to do like a darker green. And then I'm just going to kind of drop it in. You can move it around. As you can see, it's all mixing together really nice. You guys will have a better time with it because you will be lifting it up. So when you lift watercolors up, all of the paint drips. So if I have a few drips on mine, forgive me. It's meant to be on a flat table. Okay, I'm going to add one more color. I'm going to add some pink. Actually, I'll add some yellow too. I'm going to add some yellow in there. And then you really just drop it in there. And you have your circle. So the last part, and this is a fun little trick, is if you add sea salt to watercolor, you get a really cool crystallized effect, and the watercolors kind of form together to make this really cool like space look. So you just put a little bit of sea salt in your hand, sprinkle it on. And then I'm going to put it aside, and I'll show you guys in a little bit. I feel like I'm on a cooking show, but it's an art show. So while that is drying, I'm going to go over a few other materials that I think would be really helpful to have during this time. My favorite, and if you've been in one of my art therapy groups, this is one of the first things that I show people because it's so satisfying. It's really just a sensory tool that just helps you relax right away. So they're called tempera paint sticks. They're plastic based, so there's no oils or anything toxic for kids or if you have any allergies or sensitivities. These are really awesome, and they remind me if you were ever able, or if we could paint with like glue or lipstick, like the satisfying feeling of how smooth that would be, but you're not wasting your lipstick and it's not glue, it's a paint stick. So that's really fun. So I'll show you guys how that works on here. So you just get a blank piece of paper and as you guys can see, you just kind of play around with it like that. And it's really fun and satisfying. And the best part is that it doesn't smear or smudge. So that's really fun and awesome. So these are paint sticks, and they come in a lot of different colors. They're one of my favorite materials to use. So I recommend if you're going to go out and buy anything, buy these because they're fun to use. And if anything, you'll just have fun playing around with them. And if you don't like the artwork that you make. So what is next that I think would be helpful to get is just some basic paint brushes. If you don't have any around, you know, you can get some for really cheap at Michael's or Blick. Right now, there's a lot of sales online, and so take advantage of those. You don't have to spend a ton of money on art supplies if you just get the basics. I think it will really help, and you're investing in your brain and your own well-being, so I really encourage it. So one thing that I really enjoy doing with acrylic paint, if you choose to do paint, is doing masking tape painting. So the painting behind me right here, this is actually done with masking tape and acrylic. So you just kind of do layers, and you put some tape on, and you do layers over it. And so it's really about the process and kind of building up the different textures and the different layers. So this is lots and layers. So if you've got lots of time, you'll see that this is a really satisfying project to do. If you don't have canvases or you don't have access to go out and buy them, you can still do acrylic on painting or on paper. And so this is just regular drawing paper. It's the same effect, just using circles and using the tape to put in those boundaries and borders. So as I said earlier, if you are struggling with anxiety, or if you really just need some control during this really unknown time and it's a lot of chaos going on, I would recommend using masking tape or a shape to start, because just filling in something with color or having a boundary or having a box to fill in is really relaxing, and it'll get you into a better headspace because it is something that you can control right now, even if it is on the smaller scale. So like I said, you can use canvas or you can use a piece of paper. Both work really well, and all you'll need is just acrylic paints. You can mix them, you can make different colors, or you could get a bunch of fun colors that they have, and then brushes. And that's really easy, and they clean with just water. You don't need any special cleaning supplies. Just remember to clean your brushes, because if you leave a brush out and you don't wash it off, the acrylic paint will harden because it's plastic based, and you'll lose all your brushes, and that will be really sad. Also, you can get a paint palette. These are really fun. A lot of kids that I work with purposely paint these so they can peel the paint off. It's another satisfying little trick to do if you have anxiety and you just kind of need something sensory to relax you. When you're done with your palette, letting it dry, the satisfying feeling of peeling off the paint. Another project that you can do with the acrylic paints is rock painting. So if you don't have canvases, you can go outside and you can get a rock from your backyard, and you can make a little rock friend. We put googly eyes on this one and then yarn for the hair. It's really cute. You can also make little rocks with puffy paint. So you can do anything with these. They're fun if you put them in your plants to decorate, or just it's a fun activity to do with kids, or if you're an adult. I think it's really fun. So let's see. I have a lot of more materials for you guys, so just give me a second. Another great coping skill that I like, and when I worked at the hospital with kids, this was the easiest way to calm someone down. Even myself, if I was really stressed, I would get some Model Magic and just hold it and move it around. So Model Magic is really, really inexpensive. You can get a big box bulk, like 100, for really cheap online if you just look up Model Magic. So what it is it's like a hybrid of like Play-Doh and clay, but without the mess, and it doesn't smell and it doesn't leave your hands messy, and it's really satisfying to play and like squish with. So it's like a stress ball that you can mold, but you can also form it into different shapes and let it dry overnight, and then you can paint it. And if you don't have paint, you can also use water-based Crayola markers to color on it, and that's really fun. But if you use the Crayola markers while it's wet, it will turn the entire Model Magic the color of the marker, and your hands will also be that color. So if you have a lot of time on your hand, you can try that and see if I was telling the truth. But I would recommend waiting till it dries, and you can make a fun little thing, or you could just use it as a stress ball. So some other materials that I think would be really helpful for the virtual Twistshops, if you do plan on joining us every Tuesday, would be getting collage materials. So what I've noticed is that a lot of attendees at the Twistshops, they are not artists, and they always say, I don't know how to draw, I don't know how to make art, I've never made art before. That is okay. That's why collaging exists. It's really cool to just kind of find different objects around the house or in magazines to create a piece of artwork. So if anyone is familiar with junk journaling, that kind of has a similar concept where you find different things around the house or collecting different items to create a journal. So I really do recommend getting some collage materials prior to the Twistshop, because you will see that there's images in magazines or in books or scripts that really stick out to you, that you may want to put into that artwork that you make in the Twistshop. So what I recommend is, before the Twistshop starts, since you have some time in between now and next Tuesday, is looking through old magazines that you have laying around the house, or old books, and just getting some separate boxes for some images or words that really stick out to you, because you don't want to spend the whole group looking for the images. You want to have them beforehand. So what I always do for clients and even for myself is kind of have prepared images already set. So I have a box of pre-cut images that I like, that I've seen in magazines, and also some words that really stick out to me. So then when the art making time happens, I don't have to spend a lot of time looking for them. I already have them pre-cut. It's also just a really relaxing activity to do during this time. If you're just kind of bored and stuck with nothing else to do, just flip through some magazines and cut out and collect some pictures that you like, and you'll notice that it's really enjoyable. I also really enjoy using a hot glue gun for collaging, because it sticks some of the bigger items that you may be putting on the art piece. So if you're using just flat paper, regular Elmer's glue or a glue stick is fine, but if you're trying to put more natural items on, like seashells or beads, or something that's a little bit heavier, I would recommend using a hot glue gun. They will burn you, so be careful. I've been using them my whole career as an art therapist, and I still burn myself, so just be careful. Another fun thing to get for collaging is more natural materials. So I like to buy like moss, or just collect different items out in nature that can be put on the collage. So here's an example of just some moss. I do have like a big box of seashells and stones that I bring for clients too, that I don't have with me, but it's just a really great option for people who don't like the everyday like art material. They want to do something more natural based. You can also just go out and find some sticks and rocks in your backyard and glue them onto some paper and make something really pretty. So other ideas would be like yarn or string, stickers, anything. If you ever had a scrapbooking habit and you have a lot of materials left over from that, you can definitely use those. One of my good friends actually donated an entire box of her old scrapbooking materials. So Nikki Barrett, if you are listening, thank you for that. We use it every single Twist shop and it's been awesome. So that is all of the materials that I recommend for getting prepared for the Twist shop. Those are my favorite to use, but I'm not limiting anyone to just those materials. So I encourage you, if you see something online or if you see a video or a how-to of something that looks really interesting, I encourage you to try it because you might really enjoy it. It might be something that helps you during this time. So to kind of go back to the watercolor painting I was working on. So it usually takes about 24 hours for the salt to really stick and do what it's supposed to, but as you can already see, it's already starting to work a little bit of clinging all the color to the salt. And so if you give it 24 hours, you'll really get that cool effect and the salt will crystallize with the colors and it's really pretty. So kind of moving forward, like I said earlier, we will be running these Twist shops virtually every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. You can get signed up for them on our website, www.twistoutcancer.org. Twist Out Cancer is also doing a lot of awesome events throughout the year. If you aren't familiar, we do an event called Brushes with Cancer. Brushes with Cancer is an awesome program. I've been part of it since 2013 as an artist. It is a program where they pair an inspiration. So an inspiration is somebody who's been touched by cancer, whether personally or through a loved one, or if they're a caregiver. And then they are paired with an artist. The artist then creates a piece of artwork based on their story, but they do meet over a course of about 3 to 4 months, whether they're meeting online or over the phone or in person. They do talk a few times and they get to know one another, and that story of the inspiration is then created into a piece of artwork that's shown at the gala at the end of the program. And it's just an amazing night where people get together and they share stories and the artwork is revealed. The artwork is then auctioned off to go towards our programming for Twist Out Cancer, and it's just a great night for everybody to get together and just share the experience of what Brushes with Cancer is and the mission of Twist Out Cancer, which is really just trying to get people to share, connect, and heal. And I think that mission is really important right now during this time for everybody to just share what their experience is, connect with one another, whether it's, you know, virtually, over the phone, video chat, just connect with people because they need it. And ultimately you'll see that it makes you feel better and you'll be healing from it. So we do have 2 Brushes with Cancer applications open right now. We have the Chicago event open that is on our website, as well as our event in Austin, Texas. So if you are interested in participating in Brushes with Cancer, either as an inspiration or as an artist, please apply on our website, www.twistoutcancer.org. And you know, we'd love to have you join and be part of the program. So kind of to wrap everything up, if you are interested in more resources, please reach out to me. You can send me an email, find me on Facebook, Instagram. Our website here at the studio is www.art-therapist.org, and that is Art Therapy Studio Chicago. We're a private practice in Wicker Park, and we're offering a lot of awesome services, and we can hopefully bring them to you virtually to help you during this time. And to get more involved with our Twist Shop program, like I said, please visit the website, www.twistoutcancer.org. And I hope to see you guys again. Actually, in the Twist Shop, I'll actually be able to see you guys. I don't know who I'm looking at right now, but that will be a cool experience. So thank you, and make some art. And please post it and share it because somebody else will find it really helpful. Thank you.